Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Shibai Otsutsuki Karma Seal. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 4 more channels. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And don't forget to go ahead and turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post, because I do post a hell of a lot. So without further ado, or wasting more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Let us begin the intro, guys. So the last part that we left off, after weeks of drifting away from each other, the Namikaze family finally came together as a family, as they were finally able to mourn the death of Mito. That brought them even closer than before, as they realized that they needed each other, because without each other they would be lost. So they came together. As Minato was seated within his office, things were going better than before despite the heavy loss of their daughter. Trembles start to reverberate through Konoha, but not just Konoha though, the land of fire. But on closer inspection, it was the entire world. It was trembling, vibrating. Despite having no proof, Minato just feel it, that Naruto was behind this. And he was right, a distance away. As Naruto was flexing his power, he was trying to get a better control of it. He was trying to push past his limits to see if he would lose control. And in doing so, he was calling lightning from the heavens. He was creating thunderstorm. He was bringing down power of destruction and chaos. He was making sure not to give it everything that he got, as he didn't want to cause critical damage to the planet that they were living on. As Naruto knew that his power was going to far exceed enough to explode a planet. So yes, he was holding back, but he was far beyond the limits that he was using when he was inside of Konoha, showing how much better he got at controlling himself, as a big part of him was doing this for Hikari. The last time he lost control and ended up nearly killing her, and he never wanted that to happen again. When Naruto returned to the base, something had just taken place, as Kabuto told him to ask Hikari. So he went to find her. Teiwaya had made it clear to her that just because she's with the one that is now leading them doesn't mean that she's crap. Well, Hikari proved her wrong, as Teiwaya was a bully, so she just needed to be put in her place. And well, Hikari put her in her place and showed her that they were not on the same level. Naruto understood that. After all, he was in prison and he saw how the level hierarchy works. Some time passed after that, as a group that has been out on the search came to inform Naruto of what was taking place. It turns out that Jiraiya was near. Hikari was not here, as she had went with the others to bring back all the secure members here. Yes, they were no longer separating their forces. They had a idea for the sound. Kabuto had ideas, he had knowledge, he had perspective on things that Orochimaru never really desired, because his goal was to just gain immortality, but that was not Kabuto's goal. He had something else, as Naruto was helping him with that as well. Kabuto was a bit worried about Naruto going after Jiraiya. Unlike his previous battle with Orochimaru, the Sannin was much weaker, but Naruto told him that There was nothing to worry about. Jiraiya, who had been searching for Naruto for some time now, the Sanin, saw how the family had broke apart. Yes, he saw how the death of Mito had tore them apart. So he decided that he would find Naruto himself and end his life for what he was doing. And end this once and for all. When he arrived towards the next foreseeable base, Naruto was there, waiting on him. The both of them didn't talk for too long as they started the battle. An intense battle that Naruto was holding back heavily on. Jiraiya decided to summon his toad to keep Naruto occupied, but Naruto obliterated the toad. He then told Jiraiya to do what he pleased. As Naruto was not gonna fight him, he allowed Jiraiya to power up to enter Sage mode. The both of them started to clash once again. Ma and Pa believed that their boy had this at first, but they soon come to realize that despite the enhancement of Sage mode, Jiraiya could not beat Naruto hand to hand, and all of his attacks were proven to be useless. He had to get out of here, but Jiraiya was stubborn. Using more power, he believed that he could actually take Naruto down, which turned out that he was completely wrong. As Ma and Pa were knocked off his shoulder, Jiraiya was brutalized on the ground. Ma decided to summon him back to Mount Miyaboku, as Naruto saw it. Naruto was able to go through the rift, molding the chakra that breaks space and time as he entered, something that he was doing for the first time. He arrived towards the land of the toads. They were all upon him as Naruto slaughtered. He then proceeded to summon up a large and insanely amount of power before he rained lightning from the heavens as he turned Jiraiya into dust. As Naruto did not kill all the toads though, he wanted to use them as a messenger to Konoha, mainly so his father. Now he was able to rip space and time itself, as he was able to tear through dimensions. On his first few attempts though, Naruto ended up going on to a planet that was not the elemental nation, therefore giving away himself to the others. Yes, other Otsutsukis were now fully aware of his presence and that he was out there alive. However, even if they came, Naruto was not afraid, as he remembered his goal and what he had to do. The news reached back to Konoha. Minato sent word to retrieve Tsunade, as she had to come back. Naruto was on a killing spree, and he would eventually kill her, so it's time that she returned. As Fukazaku wanted to train Menma, but before he even asked, Menma was the one to volunteer himself, as he needed the strength. He needed to get stronger, otherwise there would be no hope for any of them. With that, we skip towards Naruto, who had been meditating for some time, when he finally felt it, as he knew that she was there, gazing up towards the moon, as Naruto felt her inside of there. As Naruto projected his consciousness inside of the seal, where he found the coffin bound by seal and chains, as he ripped open the lid to see what was inside. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across to play check for yourself, and also don't forget to go ahead and destroy that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. So without wasting more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode, shall we? Let's begin now guys. We begin this episode with Tsunade Senju. She was back in Konoha after all, a place that she thought she would never return to. As she sat at the grave site, no body was buried because there wasn't any to bury. The stupid idiot, always having to go to do things by himself, despite seeing the kind of threat that that boy was. He decided to go by himself once again, not informing anyone that he found him, always trying to be the one to solve all the problems. It was the same back in their youth, always trying to risk everything to protect them. The news had came to her as a shock. Once again, someone that she cared about was no longer with them, and now that maniac was out there, trying to find any source of Konoha to annihilate it. She didn't even know why she came back here, Maybe she was better off out there fighting. Maybe she had a better chance fighting out there against that threat to try and get revenge for Jiraiya. However, given how things are set right now, she don't believe that she stood a chance against this monster. Her life might be a wreck, however, Shizune was still young, and she still had her whole life ahead of her, and she knew that Shizune would get caught up into everything, and her life would be taken just like Jiraiya's. Tsunade thought as she leaned. She had a bottle of sake in her hand, pretty much the only thing that brought her joy these days. Drinking, because when she was drunk, the pain was less than how it usually is. Meanwhile that was going on, Menma was sitting down, eyes closed. However, it was where he was sitting. Menma was on top of a tall wooden pike, as there was a single board underneath him that kept him stable as he sat on it. He was at Mount Miyaboku, training. Menma had been the one to speak to Fukazaku after hearing about the demise of Jiraiya, despite the fact that Fukazaku also saw the boy as something that would mix well with their training. However, there was a problem though. The Ninetales. Having the full Ninetales inside of him now, it was not easy for the Toads to go on his shoulder and generate the Sage energy like what they did for Jiraiya. However, Menma was working on a way around that. However, Menma knew that even with Sage energy, he would stand no chance against Naruto. Jiraiya was powerful than him, even without Sage energy, so that meant he would die almost instantaneously if he tried to fight Naruto as he was. He was not only focusing on the spiritual and physical energy around him as he found himself inside of his mindscape. The seals that his father had applied to the seal on his stomach had kept the fox chakra at bay. However, the fox was at its fullest. After the loss of his sister, the source of the chakra went to the closest individual that possessed the vast amount. Kurama gazed down towards the boy, looking down at him. The boy stood there, a complicated look written all over his face. I know there is no reason for you to help me, let alone for you to even listen to what I'm saying at the moment. I know that you've been sealed away for a long time now and used by many people in the past. But the way everything is right now, the both of us, if we do not do something about it, the both of us will cease to exist. On the day of the attack, the holder of the One Tails, his name was Gaara. He was in the forest where the fighting was going on, and he was later found dead. All of the Tail Beast chakra had been drained away from him. I'm not sure if you can hear what is going on outside and what is taking place around the elemental nation at the moment, but the one behind this all is Naruto, and he's coming after me. There's no doubt about that. And he's gonna take you and your power and do God knows what with it. But he's coming for my life. Jiraiya the Sannin fought against him with Sage Mode, and yet he still lost, from what the Toad said in a rather gruesome way as well. And I lack the amount of power right now to even scratch him. I know that you don't give a damn about me, but I made myself a promise a long time ago that I would protect my younger sister, but I fail. Again and again I fail every single time. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to force you. I'm here to ask you. I'm here to ask for your cooperation, for us to work together, because fighting you would be no good. The result will end the same, with the both of us dead. That's why I'm here to ask. Not take, but ask for your help, Menma said. As the boy was sincere and truthful in his words, Kurama could detect many emotion inside of the human boy. He was once a part after the other one after all. And now she's gone. Kurama could feel it. The sensation from that boy when they fought. He looked down towards a human below him. Kurama knew things that no other human knew. As he finally speak, he spoke when Menma thought there was no hope that the fox was simply going to ignore him. Even with my full power at your disposal, there is still a chance that you will die and accomplish nothing. Menma looked up, but there is still a chance that we can survive this, that we can fight and defeat him. Yes, a very low chance. Menma was actually worried. For the mightiest tailed beast out of all to say something like that, that means he knew of Naruto's power. You know how strong he is. I know how strong he's going to become. I felt his power when we first fought him. Menma remembered. It was on the bridge. It was nothing compared to when he took the life of your sister. His power had grown tenfolds in just a short amount of time. You're not dealing with a human here. What? What do you mean? Menma said confused. I am not sure myself how he obtained such power, but just listen to my words. This boy is far from human anymore. There's a small percentage that we can actually win what is going to come. But there is still a chance. Kurama said, gazing down towards him. It doesn't matter what I'll have to do. I'll do it. It doesn't matter if I die in the end. At least I can take him down and keep my family and the people safe. And with my death, you can be free. Menma said, looking up towards the Nine Tails. And Naruto would no longer be here to try and take you. So it doesn't matter what it costs, even if it costs my life. I'll do it, said Menma. As Kurama gazed down towards the boy, just watching and observing him. While that was going on, Hikiri was looking on in front of her. There were countless mutated subjects. Right now, all of their bodies were being set ablaze by black flames. As her gaze surveyed the area, she calmly made her way. Close by was Karin, former subordinate of Orochimaru. The Sannin was dead now though. This was the other base that they had visited. After all, the whole operation was making a change. Karin had no choice but to fall in line, knowing that if she did not, it would mean her life. To think, one person could be this powerful. If that was the case, how strong was the leader? The one that actually took down the Sannin. How strong was he? Karin thought to herself as they finally arrived towards a massive steel door. So this is it, Hikiri said. Yes, he's inside. Hikiri stepped forward. Wait, Karin said. He has a tendency to attack first and ask questions later. I don't think it will be fine. Hikiri said, cutting her off as she started to click the locks on the outside. The moment she reached the final one, the door burst open and slammed into the wall. However, Hikiri had already moved. Stepping out was a violent, pissed off Jugo, covered in a curse mark. As Hikiri stood there calmly, he looked at her with a smile. I thought it would be a male, but you're a female. But the process is still the same. You'll die, he said, a mad look on his face. I am not here to end your life. However, you will be coming with me. Jugo laughed at her request, which he believed that it was. Let's see how fast I can tear you apart, he said as he launched himself towards her, Karin quickly hiding herself away from the situation, knowing how dangerous Jugo could be. Karin watched in amazement as Hikari pulled out her blade and moved forward. The both of them separated from one another, as Jugo simply laughed at their attempts. He was about to move until his entire body seized up. Karin was shocked by that speed. She sliced all the tendons in his body so fast, as her Sharingan eyes gazed down towards the pissed off Jugo. When his arm suddenly mutated and lashed out towards her, Karin's eyes went wide. However, there was a strange red substance that blocked the attack before it vanished. Hikari did not hesitate as her blade tore through the toughness of his arm. Jugo pulled back in pain as his arm was severed and hit the ground. As Karin knew from the moment she looked into those eyes of this woman, Jugo stood absolutely no chance. Time skip. Kabuto leaped out of the way as pink crystals almost skewered him. "Where is he?" The yell came from a dark blue-haired woman. She was on her way. Now she was finally here. Her name was Gurin. Similar to Kimimaro, she was loyal to no fault, willing to give her soul, her existence up to Orochimaru to be a part of him. And now she was here to exact revenge on the one that took his life. Now, Gurin, Kabuto said. I thought you were here so we can have a proper conversation. I've always hated you, she said as she clenched her fists. I never understood what gave you the right to stand by Lord Orochimaru's side as his number 2 when you're not even worth it. And now that he's gone, you've sided with the very man that took his life. I'm not going to ask you again. Where is he? To be truthful, Kabuto had no idea where Naruto was. Yes, he did not know where he was ever since his battle with the Sannin. And he returned. He simply left once again. Naruto has been gone for some time now, and Kabuto did not have any idea where he was. While Hikari and a few of the others were going around to all of their old bases to gather their forces. So yeah, his manpower was stretched a bit thin right now, but there were still the cannon fodder and the runts around. But all of the powerful ones were nowhere in sight at the moment. However, Kabuto did not fear Gurin as an adversary, but she can be quite destructive, especially with that crystal release of hers. Quite a rare and powerful bloodline. That brought a little smirk to his face. Unfortunately, Gurin, I don't know where he is. Crystals exploded out of the ground as Kabuto flipped onto the wall when they shoot up towards him as he leaped down as he ran. She chased after him when suddenly the both of them came to a stop. Kabuto felt it. Gurin felt it. The entire base felt it as he touched down. They could feel the vibrations through the ground, the very essence and power that he stepped with. Gurin looked down as her entire body was trembling. Something was wrong. Kabuto knew that. As he arrived, Gurin's back was turned to him. Her first instinct was to turn and attack, but yet her body refused to do so. Naruto walked past Gurin, literally shoulder to shoulder, and she did not move. As Naruto stood a few feet away from Kabuto, "Did Hikari return?" said Naruto. Kabuto seemed off. "What is wrong?" Naruto said. "It's you." "This feeling," said Kabuto. "Did something bad happen? You seem to be quite angry." As sweat drops were formed at the side of his head. "No," said Naruto, "far from it. My power is increasing at a rapid pace. Sometimes it tends to leak," said Naruto. As he took a breath and reined in the excess chakra that was leaking out of him, a mere fragment of his power made them think that he was angry. Now that the feeling seemed to subside, Gurin formed a crystal blade. As she shot forward, Kabuto opened his mouth to say something, but Naruto spun around as he looked down towards the crystal blade. A mere release of a tiny bit of his power caused the blade to shatter, but not only that, the crystal that covered her body as a second defense completely imploded. Gurin was shocked as Naruto gripped her throat and picked her up off the ground, suspending her in mid-air. Her breath slowly leaving her. Gurin tried to claw at his hand, but she felt so weak. As her body grew weaker and weaker, she couldn't breathe. Was she gonna die? Gurin thought to herself before Naruto released her as she collapsed down to her knees. As she tried her best to regain the breath that she just lost, taking in huge gulps. As Naruto squatted down in front of her, he gazed directly into her eyes. Gurin felt an odd sensation, as her whole body felt like she wanted to get out of there, to run away, to never come back here. I heard about you, said Naruto. I figure that it was about time that you finally come and join the cause. However, you attacking me is something that you should never raise your hand to do. Are we clear? Gurin snapped her gaze up towards him, despite the pressure that she felt. You killed Lord Orochimaru-sama, and for that, what? Is that why you're here? To get revenge? Naruto said, looking down towards her. Yes, I killed Orochimaru, that slimy snake, that no good piece of garbage, just willing to use and improve himself. Gurin clenched her fist. I heard that you wanted to hand over your body to him. Do you really think that little of yourself? Naruto said, looking towards her. You were really willing to give up everything for a man who would just see you as spare parts to help better himself. That's a wrong way of thinking, he said, looking towards her. However, I believe you have a bright future here. Quite powerful, if I must say. With the right leader, the right one to help you hone your strength and your abilities, there's no telling what you can accomplish, Naruto said, looking towards her. However, if you still wish to believe that you have nothing left in this life, to throw it away for a man that never truly cared about you and only see you as spare parts, and a man that is now dead, go on right ahead. Try and end my life to gain your revenge. Gurin got up, crystal formed around her hand as she swiped at Naruto's face. Naruto grabbed her wrist, stopping the blade inches away from him. He then palm struck her in the stomach. As blood spewed from her mouth, he did not release her hand as Gurin's eyes went white for a second. He then slammed his palm in her chest, launching her. She broke through the wall and through another before she crashed. As Naruto stepped through, releasing the hold that he had on his power, the tight hold, the entire facility started to shake. The ground trembled. The air itself seemed to vibrate. Gurin was in agony as she looked up. In her eyes, she was looking at a deity that stood tall above her, with the power to smite her as he feel. Naruto was straight and truthful about his words. His hands started to vibrate at such an unusual way, as a strange, alarming amount of power started to be generated from it. It seems like he was about to wipe Gurin's entire existence away from this world. As much as her loyalty stand for the Sannin, Orochimaru had put the intention in all of his subordinates that the stronger must always prevail, and he was always the strongest. Gurin felt her body beyond their wishes, submit to the power that reigns supreme over her. As much as most people talk about death like it means nothing, death was always a scary concept, and Gurin could feel like she was close to hers. Her words came out soft. "D- Don't do it," she said, before she proceeded to pass out. Kabuto, on the other hand, was more shocked that it only took 2 hits. 2 hits to knock Gurin out like it was nothing. And Gurin wasn't your average ninja either. She was special, and yet Naruto knocked her out with 2 hits. Kabuto felt like he could not even stand close beside Naruto without collapsing down to his knees or passing out either. But it wasn't that, it was the hits. Her body seemed to go into overdrive of her pain receptors. By just 2 hits, Naruto rested his hand on her head as he started to heal the girl, which took no less than 2 seconds, as all the internal bleeding that she was suffering simply stopped. Naruto's body had excelled beyond normal levels. If Jiraiya sage-infused punches were barely able to scratch him, Naruto's durability and his strength was on a completely different level now. A level that someone like Gurin could not even fathom to keep up with. Time skip. Gurin jumped up. As she was awake, she looked around as she was lying down on a bed. There was a large window that was a frame that showed outside as Naruto sat on the window frame. Gurin got up as she stood there, not sure what to say. It seems that you still had something to live for after all, he said without turning to her. I know about Yukimaru. You. If you dared to hurt, why would I hurt him, said Naruto, as he was still gazing outwards. Your perception of what a leader is has clouded your judgment and your mind. Do you think I would use him against you? He's just a child who has not done anything wrong, said Naruto. However, I needed to know everything. I don't understand this loyalty that you had for that man. Naruto said as he turned. He made you kill Yukimaru's mother, and then bonded you with a child, knowing that eventually there would be something that he could exploit. Gurin looked away, but Naruto didn't stop, and yet the very thought of his death angered you. You should be happy, cheering that he's gone out of your life, but yet you're bothered by his death. Well, it's not my place to get into your mind understanding, and besides, I'm not the leader around here. What? Kabuto is. That's impossible. There's no way that Kabuto can be the leader, especially compared to what you can do. Not everything's about strength, said Naruto. I never signed up to be the leader of this zone. I'm just helping Kabuto achieve something that he wouldn't have been able to otherwise without my help. And you will be a big part of that. Yukimaru is no longer on the 3rd island. I sent out for someone to retrieve him and bring him here. He will be returning soon. I have heard how much a child adores you. I suggest you tell him what happened in the past. The words about that will never escape my lips. No one will ever speak of that under threat of execution. So you have your time to do it if you wish, or if you do not wish to do so. Anger is one thing in this world, but lying to someone that believe that you're everything to them, that pain is much more worse than anything that you could do to that person, Naruto said, as he walked towards the door and opened it. Wait, Gurin said, why do all of this? I heard what you did to Kimimaro, she said, looking at him. Am I not the same as a threat as he was? You giving me free rein to do as I please, despite knowing my devotion that I had and my loyalty to Orochimaru. Why would you allow this rather than just ending my life, even bringing Yukimaru here? You said that you're not that kind of person to use someone, especially someone that is not involved, but yet your actions prove otherwise. Why is that? She said to him. It's simple, said Naruto. Unlike Kimimaro, you have something to live for. As much as you think that your entire being belonged to the Sannin, it no longer does. He, on the other hand, he didn't have an identity. He didn't know any better. But you, in the end, you gave up. With that, Naruto was gone, leaving Gurin with a lot to think about. Time skip. The group finally returned as Karen was walking alongside Hikari when someone approached the entryway. Karen gazed at the white-haired individual. She could tell right off the bat that this was him. Despite it being the first time that she was seeing him, Karen activated her mind-eye jutsu, trying to get a gauge on how powerful he truly was. However, she could not. As Naruto looked towards her, "Don't do that," he said, looking directly at her. "It won't be good for your mind." Karen was shocked. Not only was he able to sense her ability, which made no sense, but he blocked it. Hikari glanced towards her. "What was that?" she said. "I'm guessing she's trying to find out how strong I am," Naruto said, looking towards her. Karen apologized, as despite no one seeming to be angry, this guy was different on a completely another level. She wasn't aware that Naruto simply had just saved her. The technique that Karen would have tried to use would have tried to sense Naruto's overwhelming chakra. Unlike most people, Karen could actually feel someone's chakra out. But there was a problem. Naruto's chakra was too powerful, and it would destroy her mentally and then physically. Hikari walked over towards Naruto as the both of them shared a kiss. "I suppose everything went well," said Naruto. Hikari nodded. "We brought them all back," she said, "even the few that was against it. Their action will not be favorable toward this location. Those ones are not necessary for the goal," said Naruto. "Kabuto was the one that desired them." "Oh, okay," she said. "What happened while I was gone?" "A lot," said Naruto. "Let us talk," he said. "Wait," she said, as she turned towards one of the other sound ninjas. "Show Karen where she will be staying," she said to her. As the Kunoichi nodded, and Karen followed. Time skip. "You know, despite the fact that everything that you've told me is truth, it always seemed crazy that a god bestowed these powers on you," she said. "But now, you're closer than ever into achieving what this god desired for you." Hikari said towards Naruto. "Yes, this woman, she's a part of me," said Naruto, as he looked into his hands. The more time had passed, the more Naruto had recollect from the conversation with Shibai. Yes, he knew his name. And with making contact with this woman, Naruto was able to learn a lot more. Her body was suspended. She was not awake. Flashback. Upon entering in the seal, not physically but spiritually, Naruto found Kaguya. Unaware of her name just yet, he flipped the coffin lid, and there she was. Her existence, forever trapped in a state of timelessness, sealed away. Naruto could feel it. Just from being close to her, he could feel she was a part of him. The one that bestowed these powers upon him, Shibai Otsutsuki, created all of them. That is why he was set to be their ruler. Naruto placed his hand on her head, as he was able to break into her mental space. Thousands of years of memories rushing into him. Things that he never ever knew. Upon she entering the earth atmosphere, However, she was not alone. The Otsutsukis travel in pair. Ishiki Otsutsuki. However, her goal, her mind changed. The only reason why the Otsutsuki clan, why they go and absorb worlds to become the god, it's because of what Shibai set for them. It was Shibai instincts, Shibai mentality, Shibai goal, to always absorb and get stronger. Upon creating them, the same thing passed on into their very DNA. They were children after all. The Otsutsukis were not a large group of powerful people. Many of them were not anywhere near in strength to what this woman or some of the other powerful ones possess. He could see from her memories. Momoshiki, Kinshiki, those were the names of some of the other powerful ones. However, there was someone else. Now it made sense. Through her memories, Naruto understood. Shibai created a first set of Otsutsukis. They would be like the older generation. However, they were all wiped out because of one. Yes, as Naruto never understood those memories, while there was two different sets. Even now, it was hard to understand. Some of it didn't make sense, but some did. If that is the case, who is this king that these current Otsutsukis look up to? And why did this king allow them to go around and get themselves stronger? What if they revolt against him one day? What if they choose to take his position? There were much weaker Otsutsukis out there who were not sent off to go and absorb the chakra fruit from planets. But why was this king allowing this? This part did not make much sense. Naruto could see the memories of the first group of Otsutsukis, and he could see them fighting a battle that raged on through space. Their power, explosive and destructive. They fought for a very, very long time. The memories were still not fully there yet. He supposed it was with the power, the more he grew, the more he understand, the more the power believed that he was right to take on the position as leader. Naruto looked down towards Kaguya. He could not break the seal. The seal needed specific chakra to break it. Chakra of the 10 tails. Well, could not was it was not the right word. He probably could, but the amount of chakra that it would require, the amount of chakra that he would release to do so, would not be good for the environment or this planet. It needed specific chakra. While he could force it open, he would have to go beyond his limits, breaking through limitations that he's already shattered, and even beyond those to forcefully break the seal. This seal was not bound to anything on this planet. He could feel it. The Sage of Sixth Path created this seal uniquely. It was special, beyond special, connected to something that he could not understand just of yet. Forcefully trying to break it would be a stupid idea. However, that does not matter. The tail beasts originally belonged to them. Yes, the tail beasts originally belonged to the Otsutsukis, the 10 tail. So, it wouldn't be hard to pinpoint every single one of them, and it wouldn't be hard to capture them either. End of flashback. So, what happened when they do come? She asked him, looking at him. I have to physically show them that I am the one in charge. What about this leader? You know nothing about him. I thought the god that blessed you with the powers was supposed to be the one in charge. No. To them, he's also a god, said Naruto, despite the vast amount of power that they possess. So who is the leader then, she asks. That is something I'm not fully aware of yet. Despite Kaguya being one of the people that were sent out to get stronger. Strangely enough, she wasn't one of the top individuals. She was given a task, and she simply followed. That is why it became repetitive and tiresome. That is why she wanted to change. After she ate the chakra fruit, something unusual happened, and she knew that she couldn't go back. I cannot access that part of her mind. I'm not sure if it's because of the fruit, but there is something here, something that is bigger that I'm not understanding. There's a reason why she decided to flee. After she understand everything, after she consumed the fruit, perhaps this leader did something to them, and they could only understand after they consumed the fruit. Perhaps it's Naruto. But I'm not going to find that out until I wake her up. Is that such a good idea? I mean, this woman is a world-ending threat. Her son, the Sage of Six Paths, who is said to be a god. I heard a lot about that man in my time. Despite him being long dead, even then, there were people talking about him. There were even religions that still passed down, but they seem to be gone now. So do we really want to wake someone like her? The others that are coming are stronger than her, said Naruto, so it does not matter. As he placed a hand on her shoulder, have you lost faith in me? He asks. What? Of course not, she said. I'm worried about you. That's the thing. Do not be, he said with a smile on his face. My power has not stopped growing, and it won't. By the time we free her, she won't be a threat that I cannot handle. She nodded her head as she proceeded to kiss him, as they spent the rest of the day in the bedroom, having some fun. Time skip. Months went by as everything around the elemental nation started to change. Movements started to be made all over. Large groups of people coming after tail beasts, and they were moving fast. The recovered 3 tails was captured. The 1 tail was now known to be in the hands of the enemy, as the Sun had lost his greatest defense, Baki, remaining in the position as the temporary Kazekage, but it seems like it was going to be permanent. The 1 tails and the 3 tails were taken, and it seems like there was only one person behind this. Rumors started to go around that this man had killed 2 Sannin, Jiraiya of the Sannin and Orochimaru the Sannin. His attack on Konoha had left that huge trench. Yes, his name was going more and more around, and they knew who it was. It was the son of the Hokage. Yes, the son of Minato. He was now on the hunt. Many did not know that he was the one that took the 1 tails. They simply believed that Gaara died during the exchange, but now they found out that that was not the truth. Not at all. Things were going bad. Things were becoming worse. However, this also affects another organization traveling, making his way. Zetsu was target to pinpoint all of the tail beasts. His last search had him found all of them, but this time things were different. A few have gone missing. Kiri was not in a position to do anything about this. The 5 and 4 tails that were owned by the Hidden Stone, they did not live within the village. While they weren't missing names, they did not actively seek to return back either. Oniki was having a hard time locating them to return them back to the village, not wanting his village to seem weak after losing 2 of its strongest. That is why Zetsu was target to find them and report back in immediately. The Akatsuki need to get their hands on some of the tail beasts as well. However, when Zetsu arrived towards the barren land, a distance away from the hidden stone. As he felt the tremors, he also felt the chakra as well. Zetsu watched as a man covered in lava was thrown at least 100 yards away. His body moved like a missile as it crashed through so many things. Zetsu stood where he was, on a high mountain platform, on the rocky surface. He watched as the Jinchuriki lost his lava form. He had red hair. Zetsu knew who it was. It was the holder of the four tails. His name was Roshi. Roshi was getting up there in ages. All the man wanted was to be left alone and not even be bothered by his own people. That is why he was not anywhere within the village parameters. And here he was now, without any backup or anyone to stand by him, being demolished. Whatever hit him, it took him out. Roshi seemed to be broken on the ground. His body broken. However, in doing so, the beast inside of him started to emerge. Zetsu could only watch as a massive thing emerged. It slammed both hands into the ground, tearing it apart as it ripped out giant boulders and launched it. Zetsu focused on the attacker. The boulders stopped in mid-air before they were turned to dust. It seems the rumors were more than true. How was he so powerful? And what was his desire? Zetsu froze up. This was the first time he was being so close to feel this power. Why did it feel like it feels so similar to his mother's? This didn't make sense. Zetsu has not actually seen him, but now, the white hair and the eyes. Could it be? No. Have they come? Zetsu wondered. No. He's been here for some time now. And if another had came, this planet would have been done. The same reason that his mother was preparing for. So who was this then? None of this made any sense. Zetsu watches a giant four-tail, created a lava ball and launch it, only for him to raise his hand and nullify the technique as he slammed his fist, a human fist, into the monkey's gut. Despite the size, the beast was blown back. He appeared above it and slammed his leg into its face. Its body, gravity seemed to quadruple as it slammed into the earth. Its arms spread. He then slammed down into its guts. The beast stood absolutely no chance. He raised his hands as giant, strange bridges seemed to appear. 4 in total. The bridges that had a U-curve. The end of them plunged into the earth as a U-curve held the tail beast's limbs, legs and arms down. He then placed his hand on his chest before he was absorbing the chakra. All of it. Zetsu was baffled as this only took moments. Which should have taken a long while, but it only took moments. Zetsu could see his eyes. They were white, like the Byakugan. Was he really an Otsutsuki? If that was the case, just what the hell was going on? Zetsu thought to himself. Zetsu watched as the body of Roshi was left behind. As he started to walk away. Wait, where did he go? One moment he was there, the next he was not. Zetsu felt his neck grabbed before he was tore off White Zetsu. White Zetsu was tossed down to the ground. As Zetsu found himself gripped, he tried to liquefy himself to escape, but his body would not. I've been looking for you, Naruto said, gazing at the creature in his hand. He tossed Zetsu to the ground. Zetsu tried to melt into the ground, but he physically could not. What did you do to me? I've suppressed you, said Naruto. You cannot flee away from me. White Zetsu tried to intervene as Naruto flicked his finger towards him. A winged bullet tore White Zetsu's head clean off as the body fell. I'm not here to harm you. Well, given your actions, he said, looking towards White Zetsu's corpse. He's not important. You are the spawn of Kaguya, are you not? Who? Zetsu said, do not stand there and act like a fool. Oh, you believe me to be a Otsutsuki? In a sense I am, but in a sense I'm not. My goal is to bring Kaguya out of her seal. In doing so, I require a fraction of the each tail beast's power. While a fraction is enough, I have plans for the rest. I see through her mind. I saw at the last moments she released you to find a way to free her. All this time, what the hell have you been doing? Naruto said, looking down towards him. Answer me, Spawn. Zetsu find himself speaking. Wait, was he afraid? No, but so why? Why was this person commands forcing him to talk? There has been troubles. Problems ever turn the sage's sons. There's been a lot of problems, but I've built a perfect organization to find them and track them down. But you're intervening. Your efforts have caused nothing but time to waste. I have accomplished what you have not. I have gathered a few of the tail beasts. I have people going after the rest. The main strongholds are Kumo, with the 8 and the 2 tails. I will go there myself and retrieve them, and I will be the one to retrieve the 9 tails. This group of yours, the Akatsuki, I came across them in the past, said Naruto. You should tell them to stand down. Well, I presume you won't. Given that your cover there is just to use them, but it doesn't matter. If they choose to retaliate, I will annihilate each and every one of them. However, they're no longer important. I want you to come with me. There are some things that I need to know. And who told you that I was now working for you? Zetsu said. I don't even know your actions towards my mother. If I wanted her to stay in prison, I wouldn't be doing any of this. She has information I need, and besides, I will be the one in charge. And your mother will be getting a pardon. I won't allow the others to kill her for her actions of fleeing. Tell me something though. Do you know about the Otsutsuki King? The Otsutsuki King? What's that? Zetsu said. So you don't know. It doesn't matter. Come with me. And I'm not asking you when I speak. Naruto said. Zetsu found himself following this man. His body seemed to be beyond his control despite the fact that he was the one that was following him. He wasn't afraid. Yet, here he was doing as he was told. The power that was coming from this individual. It was truly frightening. The raw power that he had contained inside of him was stronger than his mother. Well, if he could use that power at his will. Zetsu watched him carefully as he wanted to know some more. Besides, if this was the real deal, he could free his mother quickly. Even if he did not get involved, this person was still going to do it. And if he did that and he wasn't there to greet his mother, it would seem like all of these years that he spent has been for nothing, as he's been wasting them. So Zetsu followed as they made their way. Time skip. Stone ninjas arrived towards the creek. As they followed the destruction, when they came across the corpse. Yes, they came across the corpse of none other than Roshi. The Jinchuriki was dead. Time skip. The massive 5-tailed horse was running away. It was running from its pursuers until a giant crystal dome formed, blocking its exit way. It smashed its head right into it. The dome cracked, but it held up. Gurin was struggling as she was shocked. This thing was beyond powerful. One hit. Damn it, she cursed as she pumped out more chakra. Amaterasu. Black flames spread over the dome, forcing the beast to move back. It could sense the danger as it watched. The trees down below were eaten away. It turned and lashed out with its tails. Boom! A giant red arm grabbed onto two of the tails, while another grabbed onto two others and spun the five-tailed horse. It launched it, sending the thing crashing hard. Its face was planted in the ground when something gazed directly into its eyes. The beast tried to fight it, but it wasn't strong enough. Its eyes changing to the Sharingans as Hikiri stood there, calm, unraveled. Its body turned back to the body of Han the Jinchuriki. Han seemed completely submission and compliant, as he did as he was told. Another tailed beast recovered. It was only the two of them, but that was only what was needed for this accomplishment. After all, Hikiri alone power. Gurin was just there for a bit of defense just in case, and to prove that she was getting along with the group and the task that was given. While that was going on, the Sound Ninjas were doing some recon on Kumo. Yes, the Sound 4. It wasn't that hard to get into the village, posing as civilians. Getting into the village is one thing, but the village and the ninja village are two different things. The ninja village was the one that was in the mountains, while the standard village full of civilians were down below. As they were making their way to find out everything that they need to know for the assault that would come very soon. Meanwhile, that was going on at Mount Miyaboku. The ground trembled, the air rippled. Fukazaku, clothing was being blown back. As he stood there watching the boy in front of him to believe that he's come such a long way in such a short amount of time. Truly, beyond impressive. Standing there in his new form, glistening with power, was Menma. Menma clenched his fist tight, with a serious look plastered on his face. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next portion, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.